from Colonel Sam Smith Park on the campus of Humber College in Toronto, Ontario, Canada. This is the 2024 AFL Transatlantic Cup presented by Payable apps. This is the conclusion of round 2 of the women's division as the USA Freedom take on France, Les Gauloises. Hi everyone, I'm Brian Barish, joined today by Peter Holden from Women's Australian Rules Football Radio. We have a fantastic matchup today and one that is very pivotal in the race for the semifinals as the USA, at both these teams 0-1, trying to bounce back from opening day losses. Good afternoon to you, Peter.
Good afternoon, Brian. And may I say, courtesy of the result that happened about half an hour earlier, Canada knocking off Ireland, it has really upset the apple cart for both divisions. Should France win today, this keeps their hopes alive as they would draw level with Ireland on 1-1 going into the final round. Great Britain at the moment in box position on 2-0 to secure a semi-final berth. For the USA Freedom, they do need to win today to keep their hopes alive of getting through to the semi-final round. Up to Canada are now 1-1 and Colombia are 1-1. That's our tournament standings thanks to Vision Glass tournament standings in locations in Richmond Hill, Thornhill, Woodbridge and Vaughan.
And it's worth mentioning that the teams are divided into two groups. You have essentially the European groups and the Americas group. So Great Britain right now at the top of the ladder in the European group. Canada on percentage leads the Americas group. The US can go ahead with a win of, I think, 2 points or more base percentage, but against a team in Les Gauloises who we saw against Colombia struggle to get on the scoreboard, it'll be up to the U.S. to try and score as many as possible.
Well, I want to have a look at some of the keys to the game, of course, and those keys to the games are thanks to Payable apps and There Live, our broadcast partners. Of course, for the French, it's forced turnovers. It's pressure on the USA. Get them out of a rhythm. They've got to be flexible. You can't have players just standing around screaming for the football. You've got to think outside your position, where the space, and they've got to be clean with their skills to be able to link up to get down the ground if they look for their first goal of the tournament. For the USA Freedom, build off that momentum from the last quarter that they had against the Irish when they kicked 4 goals on day 1. They've got to put the foot on the gas. You do it early, you snuff out any competition from the French, and also beware that the French will try and flood the 50. You've got to work your way around that.
Everybody is in position, set to go for this final game of day number 3, round number 2. The umpires in the middle. The Freedom are in blue from head to toe. They're heading to the Visit Mississauga and visitmississauga.ca. Hundreds of must-see experiences, plenty of gorgeous scenery, world-class eats and events. Mississauga is yours to explore. The French in the red tops, blue trunks, they're heading to the left towards the Toronto City Center end. Just doing some last-minute checks. Again, 18 aside here, 17.5-minute quarters. Just checking on one or two last things. The wind is now blowing towards the left of screen, towards the Toronto City Center end. The umpire is ready, and so are we. We're underway here in the first quarter. Let's set sail with Peter Holden.
And Deku goes up in the contest, loses out in the ruck on that occasion. Ball got across quickly towards an forward. Now going for a run and throwing the boot on the ball is Flock. Flock gets it out towards the pocket at the visitmississauga.ca end of the ground. Very close towards the boundary line. To put on the pressure as Amanda Bowe out of the Seattle Grizzlies. Gives off a quick little hand pass, not a throw. Gets it to Lindsay Beck. Beck from the Minnesota Freeze goes flying towards goal. It's away the right-hand side. The ball holds up. April Munn, El Presidente of the USAFL, got the football, but she did step over the boundary line and out of bounds with the ball. So we'll have a throw in 2 to 3 metres around from the right-hand point post.
All calm in USA need to step on the gas and try and take this game by the scruff of its neck from the get-go. Ball comes spinning back into play, bounces through the hands of Blecker, and over to get it and pick that one off is Eamon, beg your pardon. Saigula was wrapped up, pitchfork handball to Beck, who is taken down, and the umpire says no prior opportunity. We'll have a ball up. 1 minute of scoreless football going. Kylie Hawn from the Denver Bulldogs in the ruck today. This one is high in the air, able to get the tap down. Going after that is Fury. Soccered along the ground by Beck. Going to get picked up again. Soccered off the ground by Fury, and it will stay in play. A push in the back by Munn. She gives up the free kick, and we'll have a ball out for France. No score here on the Payable app scoreboard.
Manon Yanin taking the resulting free kick here for the French, and will be in the back pocket. The forward, acting as the player on the mark, April Munn, is being told to get back a bit by the umpire to give some space for the kick in. And here it is going towards the true centre-half back position. Awkward bouncing ball got away from Blecker. Trying to meet the football on that occasion was Mary for the French. Couldn't get it. Holding the ball decision against Lindsay Beck. Free kick going the way of Lagoa. And they'll have it at true centre-half back. So a long way from home. Again, the French will be looking for their first goal of the tournament in this game after having a 30-odd point defeat at the hands of Colombia in round 1. Intercepting here is Kojo. It's Connor Jo Lewis. She gets on the right boot, goes flying towards the pocket. Was trying to hit the intended target, and Catherine Oha. She get the football in. Delay will kick it back here for the French. Only be cut off by Lindsay Beck. Beck wanted to put on the outside of the boot, gave up the hand pass to Koha, who just misses to the right-hand side and will register as a minor score. Thanks to Payable apps, the United States of America Freedom, one behind the France Lagoa. No score.
Kathy Hoa, who has played a long darn time. She was in the 2014 and 2017 International Cups. Second oldest player on the team, 45 years old, just a couple of months younger than her Minnesota Freeze teammate, Olaf Indrida daughter. France with the football on the far side. Chasing after it is Pfluger. Having a bounce there is Janine. Janine going to try for it, but she was wrapped up, and it will be a free kick holding the ball. This is Kaya Saigula, who was the Powerwood player of the game, or at least not, she was the player for the USA, the Tasmanian player of the USA. I got my signals crossed there. There is Georgiadis. Georgiadis dances around. A wild handball, but luckily it found Pfluger, who dropped the pill, no call. Going to skitter that one across. Going to go and pick that one up is Hahn again. She gets flung backward without the ball. Going after it again is Georgiadis. Georgiadis plays in a tackle. Saigola is there. She picks it up. She holds it up. Finds a cutting Nikki Fury. Fury puts this one on the left, looking for Beck. And Lindsay Beck takes the mark. She's 40 meters out. She's going to look for an option in the center. Munn, yes! April Munn's going to play on from an acute angle and kick the first score of the game. The president of the USAFL leading from the front and kicks the first sausage roll on the Payable app scoreboard. USA 117, France no score.
We should talk about April Munn's experience in Australia. She was on the list for a while there with the Essendon Football Club when they had their VFLW program running. And also, she managed to win a premiership in the Northern Territory Football League women's competition just before COVID hit with the Southern Districts Crocs.
And what a great story this is, because she has been trying since she joined the league in 2017 to make this team, and this is her first time playing with the USA Freedom. In her second game, she has a goal.
Umpire with the ball back in the middle of the ground again. It's going to be Horn going up in the contest against Daku. Horn wins out with the fist. Ball hit the ground. Georgiadis came in there. So did Flock, laying the tackle. Getting upended there was Michon. Umpire comes in and says that was illegal. You took out the legs, and that will be a free kick going the way of Fanny Michon. Michon, who also plays rugby. This is an international debut for France playing in this tournament. She goes for the kick, trying to square it up towards Paris. Margot Paris shrugs one tackle, ran into Rita Hill, but got the hand pass away. Goes back again for a second crack at it. Paris. Going in there is Connor Jo Lewis. Threw the ball out, but the umpire was blindsided. Missed that. Ball on the deck and a mad scramble. Throw a handkerchief over half a dozen players. Horn got a fine hand pass out to Connor Jo Lewis. Now here's the kick on the right boot. Coming out towards centre wing on the There Live broadcast side. Coming out to meet the ball from the Minnesota Freeze. It's Lindsay Beck. Beck draws the player. Goes for the hand pass coming inboard to Kojo. Connor Jo Lewis runs more than the 15. Gets away with it. Kicks towards the forward line. April Munn chasing after the football. Wants to go to soccer skills. Pushes a player out of the way. Couldn't put boot to ball at the crucial moment. Still at the top of the goal square. Whistle is blown by the umpire. And we'll ask for the decision. He's going to take the football back and call for a ball up at the top of the goal square.
Directly in front, and good job by Munn using her strength. Bounces to Oha, dead in front, but I think she's pulled that off to the right, and she has, for a minor score. Second behind of the game for Kathy Hoa. USA goes to 1-2-8. France no score. Hoa, as we said, 45 from Woodbury, Minnesota, a professional bodybuilder, mother of 3, including 2 teenage girls, who played in a kind of an all-comers match at the Central Regionals a couple of years ago. And in fact, there was an instance where she threw on a shepherd on one of her daughters to spring the other one. They were playing on opposite teams. Out to the far side they go. Drops in front of Sequeira, who is in one of 3 ins to the side for the USA. And now here's Sequeira stayed with the foot. He tried to go into the middle, and it looks like the ball is going out of bounds. We should say the 3 ins for the USA. Carol Sequeira from the Golden Gate Iron Maidens, longtime member of the Suns, coming across. And the 2 members of the Orange County Giants, Eileen Yoon and Delfina Delgadillo.
Ball to be thrown back into play. Spinning back in. Horn wins the tap there for the USA. Ball hit the ground. Perry almost got one in the back by Georgiades, who got out the hand pass to Flock. Flock now threw it on the boot towards the half-forward flank position. Had the ball momentarily and dropped it. Was Amanda Bowe. Had to get rid of it quickly towards the half-forward flank. Got a run on going here. That was Black who had the ball momentarily. She got pulled to ground, close towards the boundary line. Going after it again is Lindsay Beck, who was sensational in her debut at the 2022 USAFL Nationals for the Minnesota Freeze. They're getting across there to Blecker through the hands there of April Munn. Munn chases after the football and will sneak through for a minor score. And on our Payable apps scoreboard, it is the USA currently sitting on 139, France no score. And for those watching along for the first time, particularly at the at a league, no, bar of their own. That's what I should remember, in Minnesota. 1 at the front, that's goals. The second number you see, 3, is behind, and 9 is the total score. So the first score you see, 1, you times that by 6, plus whatever the second number is, that's how you get the total score.
Pfluger will send this one in. She plays for Minnesota. She's been to a bar of their own, I'm sure. Fury couldn't get the football. Tripping and falling over a banana peel was one of the Lego was. We have a whistle, and it will be a free kick. Now they're pointing in the way of the USA. And it will be Lindsay Beck. Now, if you've followed the USAFL, she was known as Lindsay Eliason. She and partner Warren, who's also one of her teammates, got married a couple of weeks ago. So
congratulations.
Congratulations to the 2 of them. I'm congratulating a lot of folks getting married, especially on this Freedom team.
And I congratulate her partner as well. You got a redhead. You've won in life.
Here is Beck from 40 meters out. Oh, that looks pretty good. Does it hang up in the wind? Ball gets knocked down. Ed was there trying to clear this one out. Here's Bo. Player went down. Bo picks this one up. She kicks from the odd angle. And she's kicked it through. Oh, that might be a Payable apps goal of the tournament, as Amanda Bowe, the former goalkeeper from Washington University in St. Louis, adds another one to the tally on the Payable apps scoreboard. USA 2-3-15, France no score.
Well, the one thing that we're noticing about the USA is how they're linking up at the moment. We just saw that earlier when we had Lindsay Beck against the boundary line, Christine Flock, Jess Blecker as well. They're teaming up. They're running the ball more, something they did not do against the Irish. Against the Irish, they were very static. They were kicking the ball up the line a little bit too predictable. Here, they never used the Lake Ontario side of the ground. They're doing it today, and again, they're running the ball. And you have to run the ball if you're going to be a chance of winning this tournament. Ball back in the middle of the ground, and away we go again. Olaf goes up there with a big punch in the middle of the ground, chasing after the ball as Flock is going to get there first. Flock keeping the ball in front of herself, gets brought down the ground quite heavily. Fierce tackle laid on there by Gaultier. Umpire says play on, it's fair. Gaultier went back in to get the football, gave it off. Paris was calling out for it. In goes Connor Joe Lewis. Umpire blows the whistle and says holding the football. Free kick going the way of the USA Freedom.
And Kaya Saigula, who was tackled, is down, and I'm not so sure she didn't hit her head, but she is okay. I think she is calling for the sub, so Saigula waiting, and she will come off, and that is not a good sign. She was the best. Well, no, she's going to stay on for now.
She's a tough nut. Nicole Fury from the Golden Gate Iron Maidens. She decides to go for a long kick for the Freedom towards the forward pocket. Was looking for Connor Joe Lewis. Bo fires out the hand pass to Beck, who gets it to Kojo. Connor Joe Lewis from the pocket just goes across the face. April Munn tried to put her hand up to scoop it in. Couldn't do so. That's a minor score. The USA Freedom 2-4-16. France Legoise yet to score. We've got 7.5 minutes remaining on the Payable app scoreboard.
Keeping an eye on Saigula over there, just taking a breath. I don't know that she looked very close. At the very least, her head whipped back, but hopefully she is okay. They are checking her out over on the sideline. That is a big loss hopefully she'll come back, as this is Thiele, who plays up the far side. Going to get intercepted by Barb Williamson. She sends that one into a wide open Kathy Hoa. And one of the long-time seasoned veterans, and this is her position. She always plays up in this forward line. She has gone a long way back. Ben Brown, is that you? The mark is only about 30 meters out. She's probably gone about 15 meters back. Now she's going to stride in and send this one goalward. The kick is up on the way. It is dead center. Perfect goal. That Kathy Hoa and the USA Freedom get their third. Payable's app scoreboard 3-4-22 for the Freedom. No score for France.
Just to recap for those that are joining us for the first time this tournament, this is day 3 of the tournament. We're running in a format of women's men for at least the first 3 rounds, and then we start to have a mixture when we come to the semi-finals and consolation matches. On day 1, which was the opening round for the women's, Ireland did defeat the USA 7-14, 56 to 5-2, 32, but the USA did finish strong with a 4-goal 1 to 4 behinds final quarter, and also France went down to Colombia 2 behinds to 5-7, 37. As we restart in the middle of the ground again, trying to get in there, for France, getting in there Paris as well. Paris lays on the tackle on Connor Joe Lewis. Umpire blows the whistle and says it's going nowhere. We've got a stalemate, and we'll throw the football up again just on the attacking side of centre for France. Ball goes up in the air again. Ducot did the ruck work. Connor Joe Lewis with an excellent hand pass. Get it across to Pfluger. Pfluger for the USA goes towards the half-forward flank position. Putting out her arms is Jess Flecker to say, I'm being held. The umpire's not buying into it and won't give her the Oscar. Goes it across from Bow. Bow moving sideways now to Sophie Pfluger once again. Ball being held up in a traffic jam of players. Apley there for France, trying to get a kick out. Her kick was smothered off the boot. Coming away now is Bow with the hand pass. Gets it across to Blecker. Blecker from outside 50. Going low to April Munn, who takes it off the bounce. Munn turns around in a sixpence. Gave the hand pass across to Connor Joe Lewis, who put on the right boot. Bit of a mongrel punt off the side of the boot. Hurry little kick while under pressure here for the USA. Is away to the left-hand side by Liz Ed. And let's just confirm that. The boundary umpire says it has hit the point post, so that will not register as a score. That is a throw-in, 22-point lead to the USA.
I think if the U.S. scores one more goal, they will have made up the difference in their loss against Ireland. We're just kind of keeping an eye on percentage. If the U.S. win, they would be in a 3-way tie in Group A. Still plenty of time, though, as Ed sees the ball go through her hands. She is one of a twin. Up there, there's Beck from point-blank range. And Beck bombs one home. 4th goal of the game for the U.S., and that is Lindsey Beck's first on the Watch AFL on the Payable app scoreboard. I'm in Nationals mode already. 4-4-28 to no score. And Lindsey Beck, who comes from a rowing background, she was a University of Minnesota. She also did basketball, soccer, track, and field in high school, made her debut in the Parallel Cup last season.
And we should mention, like, since you said watch AFL, not an official sponsor on this tournament, but it's also a great place to go if you want to watch AFL, or again for those watching just at a bar of their own, when the AFLW season kicks off in about 3 weeks' time. That's the Professional Women's League in Australia.
And you can listen to some of those games on WARF Radio, in fact.
Yes, via the official AFL app. Thanks for the plug.
Yeah. You've earned it.
As the umpire will take the ball back in the middle of the ground. And let's just see here. Maybe the throw was awkward and he wants to throw the football up again. Now, what would happen in a normal Aussie rules match, particularly in a men's game in the top league, by tradition, the umpires actually bounce the ball into the ground, and if the bounce doesn't go perfectly straight up, it favours one side too many, they can blow the whistle and call it back to throw the football up again. On this occasion, his throw was a bit wonky, so he says, I want to throw it up again. So that's what he does, and Barbara Williamson was doing the ruck work there for the USA Freedom. Umpire says there's a trip in there. That's a free kick going the way of the French, and it's going to end up in the hands of Leandra Camus. Camus goes, she was told, no, it has to go to another player, and that was Fanny Michon. Fanny Michon now goes out towards centre wing on the Lake Ontario side of the ground. Awkward bounce there for Taku, who immediately gets wrapped up, and the umpire says there's no prior opportunity. That, to explain to people watching Aussie rules for the first time, is like a basketball jump ball. If both players got their hands on it and they can't take it away from each other, they say throw the ball up.
It also happens if a player gets tackled but didn't have a reasonable opportunity to get rid of the ball. U.S. is going to get a free kick here, as improper disposal was the call, so it will, beg your pardon, I think it might be a ball up. Well, and he's explaining the captain, co-captain Allison Leonard. So, beg your pardon, we'll have a ball up, just like 90% of my marriage. I was wrong. Barb Williamson knocks the ball forward. Blecker goes after it, the former Collingwood VFLW player. Beck looks for Blecker, had it go off of her hands. She got knocked sideways. And here is Leonard. Leonard going to pick that one up across for Connor Lewis. Here's Blecker. Blecker's going to kick this one inside 50, looking for a target, but nobody there. Delay is going to have to go back, and she gets it. She is shoved down by Munn, and we have a whistle and we'll see what happens. Thiele is slow to get
In
up.
the back.
It is in the back, and so it'll be a free kick. And Thiele slow to get up. Munn just with eyes for the ball. Unfortunately, the tackle didn't come off. We mentioned April Munn, the first woman to be president of the USAFL, and she's downplayed that part a lot, but really a groundbreaking just servant of the game for the USAFL.
And by the way, she works in biotech with 12 publications and 1 patent as well.
She is smart.
And coming over is Connor Joe Lewis. He gives the hand pass off quickly, taken away there by Amelia Carr. Carr swings it around, was looking for a Seattle Grizzlies teammate there, and April Munn at the top of the goal square. The French will click it off the last line of defence. A long kick. Connor Joe Lewis, she's the meat in the sandwich, and the umpire pays the mark, says she had the hands on the ball first. Now, normally in that pack situation, in the mark, if all players grabbed at the same time, it would be paid to the player at the front of the pack. But because she had hands and clean hands to the ball, she got awarded it. Went to Jess Blecker, who dropped the football, had to go back and get it again. Gave off a quick little hospital hand pass. Hurry kick looking there for Amelia Carr. She couldn't pick up the football. Bumped too high there, I think, on Liz Ed, and she'll get the resulting free kick. Liz Ed from the Minnesota Freeze, out of Egan, Minnesota. She's actually a twin, and believe it or not, she lived and studied in a palace in Scotland.
And her twin, I believe, is Anne-Marie. So hello to Anne-Marie if you're watching back home. And if that's your name, I apologize.
Liz Ed directly in front from about 35 metres out from goal. Stabs at it on the right boot. Is going to fall short. Thiele again. She's been solid in the defence for France.
She really has. Just seconds to go here. She has been back there. And in fact, that is the siren. And that ends the quarter. 17 and a half minutes gone here at Humber College. On at Colonel Sam Smith Park in Toronto, the score, it's the USA Freedom 28, France nothing. And for the U.S. has done what we kind of expected them to do. They got in the car, they started the ignition, they pressed down on the petrol pedal or the gas pedal, whatever you call it. And they need to be, I think, they could be cleaner. But if you're Andrew Donlan, not a bad start.
Well, for the French, they're kind of shell-shocked at the moment. I mean, we talked about the keys of the game where they've got to put pressure and maybe even flood their back 50 against the United States. They're almost caught in shock, almost caught standing still. And again, it's that run game that we're talking about the USA that they didn't have in game one. They're moving freely. They're moving the ball sideways. They're finding their targets as well. They're playing like they did in that final quarter against Ireland. So for France, if they don't want this game really to blow out, it's almost like you've got to go one-on-one, and you've got to tell your players, this is pure athleticism. You've got to be right on the hammer, running inch by inch with your opponent to make sure they've got no space and give them nothing, give the USA no options to go to.
And they have to keep it up over 4 quarters. Really, both teams do, because the U.S., percentage is going to be the first tiebreaker. And just to explain, it's kind of like point differential, except you divide for the difference, not add and subtract, or subtract in a sense. So the U.S. is going to want to add to this lead, and France is going to do everything they can because they're trying to keep their hopes alive with a victory, and even if they lose. A quick look at the goal kickers for you, Pete.
Yes, at quarter time, we've got singles. It's to Hoha, Beck, Munn, and Bow for the USA Freedom. Obviously, no goal scorers yet for France.
And we'll return for the second quarter of this one. Thanks to Payable Apps and eThere Live, you're watching the 2024 AFL Transatlantic Cup.
Google Forms now accepts payments. The Payable Forms add-on allows for seamless integration of a digital checkout with your Google Forms. Install the Payable Forms add-on, link your payment provider, share, and get paid. Your customers can use Apple Pay, Google Pay, Visa, MasterCard, American Express, Discover, Cash App, Venmo, and more. Save time and hassle by automating your payment process quickly and simply. Payable Forms gets you paid. Great news, sports teams. Google Forms now accepts payments. The Payable Forms add-on allows for seamless integration of a digital checkout with your Google Forms. Setup is easy. Install the Payable Forms add-on, link your payment provider, share, and get paid. Players can use Apple Pay, Google Pay, Visa, MasterCard, American Express, Discover, Cash App, Venmo, and more, streamlining the process for them, all while you stay organized with real-time updates. Registrations, uniforms, races, sponsorship, clinics, coaching, training, and classes. Keep it simple with Payable Forms.
Second quarter about to get underway here in Toronto. The 2024 AFL Transatlantic Cup presented by Payable Apps. USA 28, France nothing. Second quarter about to get underway with France kicking towards the visitmississauga.ca side. The US kicking to the left towards the Toronto side. Peter Holden gets us underway.
And the umpire throws the ball high in the air. One out there by Kylie Horn of Simpsonville, South Carolina. Deku managed to get boot to ball and kicks it up the line about 20 metres here for the French. They're going to the right of screen, which is the visitmississauga.ca end of the ground. Umpire's pulled out a free kick going the way of the USA Freedom, and I think it's out to Barbara Williamson, who throws it on the right boot, swinging long and high to Amelia Carr, who played in the Northern Territory Football League women's competition with St Mary's during the recent Australian summer. Kicks it long inside forward 50. An awkward bouncing ball. Thalay wanted to try and come out and meet it. Taking a fresh air hand pass there was Liz Ed. The umpire says that's a throw. You can't do that. And a reminder, a hand pass in footy is almost like what you call an underhand volleyball spike. The ball in the hand and then you punch the football.
It's also almost like a serve in a sense, and that one is picked off by Lindsay Beck. And you aren't allowed to scoop the ball with an open hand. You're not allowed to toss it in the air and then hit it. The ball must be in the contact of the one hand and then struck with the other. Back being brought around. The kick is from about, we'll call that 35 meters out at a 45-degree angle. Goes across the face. France able to soccer it out of there. There's Kaya Saigula. Great to see her back as Carr goes down to the bottom. Saigula is keeping vigil there, and we'll have a ball up. Kylie Hahn is raising her hand. You mentioned she's from Simpsonville, South Carolina, 30 years old. South Carolina Volleyball Gatorade Player of the Year in high school. So a lot of volleyball players coming through the USAFL as we have a free kick to Les Gaulois. I think of Meg Leone, who played in the International Cup a few years ago. Saigula steps in front and makes the interception. Quick handball away. Here is Connor Lewis, and here is a possible Payable Apps goal of the tournament. What a look by Saigula to find Kojo. That's their fifth. And for Lewis, that is her first. 2 minutes gone, second term, USA 5-4-34. France, no score for Payable Apps. Here's Peter Holden.
That's Connor Jo Lewis. She likes to be known as Kojo, so go Kojo. And she's out of Bloomington, Minnesota. In fact, she's also the head coach of the Minnesota Vixens women's tackle football team. That is American football, the one they played with the 4 downs.
Yeah, and hand egg, you mean? We're here to watch. We're going to the Toronto Argonauts game. A lot of us are on Friday night to watch 3-down football.
And I should mention the umpires out there for this game include Glenn McLeod from Canada and Ian Kafka-Peterson from Great Britain, who have been told by some of the umpires he's known as Fabio back in his home league.
Why?
I have no idea.
We'll have to ask him.
Yes. Fabio, why do they call you that? As the umpire has the football back in the middle of the ground, and we'll see again the nominating rucks, and that is Kylie Horn going up against Deku. Deku wins it out on that occasion. Getting to it is Yanin. Yanin lost the football there for the French. Trying to sock the football off the ground is Apley again. She overruns the ball. Going after it is Lindsay Beck. Beck keeping the ball in front of herself. Foot race is going to be on here at the moment. Almost copped high contact there from Joanne Amin. Beck still going. Lindsay Beck pulls the kick towards the hot spot, 35 metres out from goal. 3 American players collide into each other. Flock is the one that goes and gets it back. Has she dribbled it through? Flock, is it a goal? It is. In fact, it's Saigula, pardon me. Kaya Saigula, a contender for the Payable Apps goal of the tournament. Saigula saw the ball bouncing along. She had accidentally run into April Munn. She managed to compose herself. 3 French women coming at her and somehow dribbled it through from about 20 metres out.
And in the chaos of all of that, Liz Ed is coming off with the blood rule. I think she is coming off with a bloody nose. So hopefully that isn't broken, but she is coming off straight away. 6th goal of the USA's afternoon. They go to 6-4-40. France, no score. Just keeping an eye on that. We'll see if we can get more information as the day goes on. But my goodness, the U.S. is really kind of coming out here. And we have a moment as they will bring in a new player. And we are underway once again. Hahn able to knock this one forward. Here comes Lindsay Terse from New Jersey going to give this one away. Handballed in, getting away from one tackle, but not Saigula, who forces the kick away. It's not a great kick. Here comes and back is Sequeira. Going to get picked up by, or Lewis is staying there. Here comes Blecker. Gets it around to Carr, who is taken down, but didn't have the football. So she will get a free kick. Check that. This is Kojo. Connor Joe Lewis also had a residency, by the way, talking about coaching with the Baltimore Ravens. Off the chest of Blecker, bounces to Carr. Carr to Sequeira, who's back from a broken foot injury that she suffered in May. And the mark is taken by Lindsay Beck. She goes with a pitchfork handball really quickly. Finds Blecker, who runs the 45. Lets this one go into the goal square. It goes off to the side. Chasing after it is Eileen Yoon. Yoon couldn't get it. Shoved down in the back, I believe. And yes, there will be a free kick to Amanda Bowe. Or check that. That's the 30. Yeah, it is Bowe.
Amanda Bowe, yep.
Some reason I thought I saw a 7. So here is Amanda Bowe, who is originally from Aurora, Illinois. Played at Washington University, D3 in the NCAA. She has about a 45-degree angle. The kick is up on the way, and it has gone through for another goal. Her second, the USA's 7th. They go on the 7-4-46. France no score as the French men over to our left trying to keep their lady spirits up with an Allez les Bleus.
I should mention to those, again, watching online for the first time through the AFL Canada YouTube channel, particularly those, again, at that fantastic bar of their own in Minnesota, to mention about the blood rule in Aussie rules. If you have any blood bleeding from you, or even if it's dry and there's blood on your jumper, you have to come from the ground. If there's blood on your jumper, you have to change your jumper. Otherwise, if it's just on your face, you've got to wipe it off and stitch it up. And as you come from the ground, you don't have to, the player coming on doesn't have to wait for you to get all the way off the ground. When they stop the clock, the player can come on early. As the ball is out on the other side of the ground, on the centre wing, Lake Ontario side, Catherine Georgiadis cops one in the back and she'll get a resulting free kick. Catherine Georgiadis, 39, originally out of Morney, Ohio, played in the 2014 and 2017 AFL International Cup teams for the USA Freedom. Decides to go with a short kick coming in board to Kylie Horn. Horn now goes inside 50 with a kick, went over the head there of Jess Blecker. Lindsay Beck was waiting out the back, couldn't get on the football. Saigula was lurking nearby. Also chasing after it is Eileen Yoon of the Orange County Giants. And the ball goes over the boundary line and out of bounds, and we'll call for a throw-in 10 to 15 metres around from the right-hand point post. We're going to the Toronto City Centre end.
The wind's been kind of swirling all day, Pete. Right now it is still kind of swirling. It was blowing towards that city center end to the left as that one is knocked down by Beck. There's Yoon in the pocket. Yoon tries to dance away, finds Beck. Ski jump ball, but hang on.
Umpire's blown the whistle, said France free kick.
And it will be a France free kick. So forget everything I just said. We'll rewind.
What did you just say?
What, huh? Well, football practice. And here is Tillet, who has been very busy in both of the games we've called so far for France as she goes out. Dangerous low kick, drops in front. Munn is going to go chasing after Vidon. And now here going to pick this one up. This one is Lindsay Terse. Terse takes her down. Here comes Lewis. She winds up and she puts it dead center perfect, straight and flat, straight and majestic like a flatulent moth. It wasn't a good joke to begin with, but that is their 8th. They go to 8-4-52. No score for France. On the Payable app scoreboard, Lewis has her second.
The USA like a runaway freight train at the moment, and France finding it extremely difficult to pull the handbrake. 52-0 on the Payable app scoreboard with 9 minutes remaining in the second term. And the women's side of the draw, we are playing 17.5-minute quarters with no time on unless there is a serious injury. On the men's side, they play 20 minutes straight with no time on unless there is a serious injury. Umpire with the ball back in the middle of the ground. Now, what happens here in the centre ball up, so those watching for the first time, 4 players are allowed to stand in the centre square for each team, 2 on either side of the centre square. They're called the wing position, and there must be 6 at either end inside their respective 50-metre arcs to begin when there's a ball up. Hand pass out there by Segula, who managed to get it across to Connor Jo Lewis, who then got onto Amelia Carr, who immediately throw it on the left boot towards the hot spot, 35 metres out from goal. Quick hands by April Munn to Lindsay Beck, who gets it across to Amanda Bowe on the right foot. Fast footy, and it's hit the woodwork. 1 point for the USA. 8-5-53, France no scored. Again, reminding that the goalposts in Aussie rules don't act like soccer. It doesn't bounce off and the play continues on. If it hits either of the two big posts, it's 1 point. If it's either of the smaller posts, that means it's out of bounds.
And it works same as it does everywhere else. If it bounces and then hits, the ball, it bounces and hits, it's a boundary throw in from where it is. If it hits it on the fly, if it hits it flush, it's a free kick from that point. The U.S. leading 53-0. And on that kick by Bo, you saw her come across the body. That is the soccer goalkeeper, as we've mentioned a couple of times. The other thing she does, she goes down to the ground a lot of times to take those marks. She does a lot better of keeping her feet, but on those ones where you do come after it, or where she does have to come in front, you see that soccer influence where she slides and goes in. This is a last touch out of bounds free kick to the Americans. We are playing the same rule if you're familiar with AFLW. If not, anything that happens between those two 50-meter arcs, anything that goes out of bounds, generally speaking, the other team gets the free kick. There are some exceptions. There's Beck with the mark. Turns in quickly, looks for Lewis, finds Munn. Munn finally got a clean handle on it, takes a step back, launches that one for the goal. Did she kick that one? Yes?
No, there's a conversation. No. The field umpire's coming in.
Oh, I saw two hands go up. Let's see. Here's the conversation. We have the Pope on standby. It's a goal. And that may be a Payable Apps goal of the tournament. Give that one to the number 31 in April Munn, her second of the game. And the USA go to 9-5-59. France no score, 6:45 to go here in Toronto for Payable Apps, for Visson Mississauga, and for our footballs, the Australian High Commission to Canada, responsible for advancing Australia's interest here in Canada.
And you can visit them at canada.embassy.gov.au. And just to explain also another little thing in Aussie rules football, as much as the goal umpires who give 2 fingers to say a goal or 1 finger to say a point, they are actually, their boss is the field umpire. So they have to wait till the field umpire says all clear, or if the field umpire thought they've got it wrong, the field umpire can overrule the goal umpire.
And usually, sometimes they'll confer. Sometimes, very rarely, you'll see them confer. Go ahead.
And as the umpire awards a free kick here to the French, I think it might be with Decoux, who has it now for Lagoa on the defensive side of centre. Apologies, we haven't caught many French names, just that the USA have been so dominant at the moment. Just holding on there is Yanin. She was holding on to the player who hadn't picked up the football yet. And it will be a free kick going the way of the USA. Quick little hand pass now, going across to Connor Joe Lewis. Lewis now gets on the right boot, going up to Segulo on the speed. Lost control of the football, went back, dispossessed of the ball, and the umpire says, you dropped the football illegally. And that means it's a free kick going the way of Khalid Decoux for the French. And remember, you must get rid of the ball by putting it on your foot or handballing it. Otherwise, it's your opponent's ball.
Looks like she tried to bounce it, but the mustard came off the hot dog, and the mark taken over the top there by Jarcel. Elise Jarcel with the football in the right halfback flank position with Williamson on the mark. Now she's told to play on and gets the spoil. Here comes Williamson. She goes down to get it. She's taken down without the football. No call. Tried to paddle it on. Nobody was there in support, but there's Blecker to come in and lay the tackle. No prior opportunity. The umpire crosses his arm like the Monsignor, and the umpire just telling them to calm down in Ray Chamberlain fashion. Ray hanging up the boots after this season. Ball gets knocked forward by Williamson, who's in on the ruck. Ball bounces away and picked up by Pinade. Pinade with the football now up the far side, and she is gone. And it'll be a free kick to the USA. Good tackle in there by Maumee, Ohio native Catherine Georgiadis, who is a surgeon by trade and has her own bespoke bakery business, which is pretty cool. She will line up from about, in fact, she laid the tackle on, but we thought she did.
Yeah, we went with a quick kick to Lindsay Beck.
And here is Beck, thank you. Down reading all about Georgie, and she was passing the ball off to Beck, who will line up and send this one on the way. It looks like it has gone off to the side. In fact, it has passed the Dutchie on the left-hand side. 4 minutes to go in this first half on the Payable App scoreboard. USA 9-6-60. France get the score.
Delay moves the ball back in from full back out towards the half-back flank on the Lake Ontario side of the ground. Turning a player on a sixpence there is Michon, who goes up towards the defensive 50-metre arc. Awkward bounce along the ground. Paris tried to get in there, couldn't pick out the football. Also spinning in there is Villemar. The USA move it towards their half-forward flank position. position. The ball was too much of a hot potato. Going in there, Catherine O'Hara to lay the tackle, and the umpire says, I'll take the football back, please. I think it might be Pigniti who got caught, and the umpire said he had no proper opportunity to get rid of the football, so I'll take it back. No, he's awarded it for holding the football. Oh, geez, hot on the whistle there for my liking. Catherine O'Hara looking to go towards the back direction. Ball is smacked away on that occasion by Delakumana, and the ball is close towards the boundary line. It will not go out. April Munn is there for support. Gives off the hand pass. Catherine O'Hara, hot potato, gives it across to April Munn, and the umpire adjudges it as a throw, and it will be a free kick going the way of the French in the back pocket, Lake Ontario side of the ground.
3 to play first half as Munn will watch the kick in come from the back left pocket where I keep my keys, which is why I have a pain in the butt. Up to the far side now, drops in front off the shins of Georgiadis. Going to get knocked backwards by Hoa. There, two of them have played many, many times with each other for club and country. Watching it is Rita Hill from the Denver Bulldogs, making her debut from Rochester, New York originally, or should I say she debuted at the Parallel Cup last year. A Toronto Raptors NBA fan, which is great. Unfortunately, they're not in season just yet, but I'm sure she'll pick up some of their new stuff. And here's a kick by Hoa from an odd angle, but I think that just went off to the left. In fact, it did. 7th minor for the USA. 9-7-61 for them. France no score. Brian Barish alongside Peter Holden. Great to have you along. This third and final game of the day with 2 minutes to go. Tilley will play this one up on the near side, but she's taken down. And is that holding the ball? Yes, it is. And so it'll be a free kick, and it will go to Eileen Yoon, playing her first game of the tournament for Orange, California. And she is the founder of the OC Giants women's team. She stabs this one across the face. It's picked up in front, finds Lewis. Back to Hoa, one step, bang. But I think it's gone across the face. Or has it? Yeah, it has. Just to the left and another behind. USA 9-8-62. No score for France, 90 seconds to go.
Here on our Payable app scoreboard, this is day 2 of the, day 2 for the women's division, day 3 overall, the AFL Transatlantic Cup. Umpire blows the whistle and says it's a free kick. There's a USA player down behind play, French player down. Keep an eye on that, Brian Barish.
Yep.
Catherine wanted to go over the top, and he says, no, blow the whistle, stop. So stop the clock here at the ground. Obviously, if there's a serious injury, the umpire can blow the whistle to say, look, we've got to stop the clock. We've got to attend to this player. Also, in a normal Aussie rules game as well, with time on, they will sometimes say the ball is too close to an injured player on the ground. Stop. It's too dangerous to play on. Michonne is the player that is down for the French. She gets up, and the umpire says she's okay to continue on, and so is this game, but wants Catherine Georgiadis to come back behind the player on the mark before we get going again.
And mentioned just very quickly, Liz Ed back onto the field. Good to see after she had a bloody nose. She is fixed up and ready to go.
And we should mention our clock on the screen as well is not the official clock. It's not like the NFL where the game clock is tied to the official clock. So there may be a few seconds off as Catherine Georgiadis elects to come inboard. Was looking in the Jess Plecker direction. She threw her hands up to say, I'm being held. The umpire won't buy into it. Georgiadis takes the mark. Georgiadis elects to play on quickly. Once gets very close to her teammate as she tries to switch in towards a more central direction. Connor Jo Lewis takes the mark, elects to play on and kicks a goal. That's another contender for a Payable Apps goal of the tournament. And for Connor Jo Lewis, that's her third so far of this match. The USA move on to 10-8-68. France Le Gaulois, no scorers. The siren sounds to indicate half-time on Game 3 of the second round of the women's action.
All one-way traffic for the USA in the opening 35 minutes. But for France, they have been under pressure. There have been some good passages of play, but it has really been a dominant performance by this USA team. And really, you know, we mentioned the percentage factor, and we keep bringing it back. The U.S. is going to play Great Britain tomorrow. That's going to be on Tuesday in the final round. In fact, it's the final game of pool play. They may be in a position with the other games they are where if there is a tie and perhaps a three-way tie possible, that's going to be the first tiebreaker. So it might seem like they're running up the score, but there's a reason why they're keeping their foot on the pedal.
And we should mention, if you do join us for that game, 2 p.m. Eastern Time, Great Britain and the USA on Tuesday. Just looking ahead, there's been a few changes, hasn't there, for the USA in what they're deciding to do with their structure and the players that they're putting on. Obviously, Jerry Allen isn't playing at the moment, so April Munn is playing now as the full-time forward. You've got Jess Blecker more down the forward line where she'd be almost on the wing or at the back when obviously was playing against Ireland, a better team on Friday. But the one revelation for me, and I think they should stick with it when the game against Great Britain and not move her back towards a midfield or wing position, is Lindsay Beck. I think Lindsay Beck looks more dangerous as an attacking half-forward flank player.
And that's what she is with Minnesota. I mean, she will play in that sort of half-forward role on a team where they have a lot of weapons up there.
Yeah.
I mean, that's where Connor Lewis plays. You have Hoa, who is essentially almost like a sentinel in the forward line. It'll be interesting to see what they do in the next 2 quarters.
And what it does, and again, it can be a little bit deceiving because the French aren't as strong as the other opposition. But what Beck also does as well is she draws 1 or 2 opponents with her when she goes chasing after the ball. And if she goes wing side, that opens up the middle. And what's been happening and how Connor Jo Lewis has got her 3 goals, when Beck draws the players away from the centre, Connor Jo Lewis goes straight down the guts and it creates the space for her.
Yeah, it really does. There's so many players, so many dangerous players here who can open up, and you have to essentially watch everybody. Quick look at the goal kickers for the game so far through 2 quarters, Pete.
For the USA Freedom, it's 3 to Kojo, Connor Jo Lewis, 2 each to April Munn and Amanda Bowe, and singles to Kai Segula, Catherine Hoha, and Lindsay Beck.
We're going to take a moment, step aside, take a break, take a breath, and return. We hope you do the same, but we hope you come back and catch the second half of this one. You're watching the 2024 AFL Transatlantic Cup, brought to you by Payable Apps here on the AFL Canada TV network.
Google Forms now accepts payments. The Payable Forms add-on allows for seamless integration of a digital checkout with your Google Forms. Install the Payable Forms add-on. Link your payment provider. Share and get paid. Your customers can use Apple Pay, Google Pay, Visa, MasterCard, American Express, Discover, Cash App, Venmo, and more. Save time and hassle by automating your payment process quickly and simply. Payable Forms gets you paid.
AFL has huge potential, not only in Colombia, but also Latin America. And Orica is really excited to be part of that story.
Los lazos humanos entre Colombia y Australia son de una importancia altísima. Para ambos países el deporte es algo muy importante en la vida. Tenemos las culturas muy similares en este sentido, con los valores de equidad de género, de participación. En la cancha todos somos iguales.
Mi vida siempre se basó en el tema del deporte, porque el deporte a mí me salvó de todo aspecto posible que normalmente en la juventud no. El tema de alcohol, de vicios y demás, a mí llegó a mi vida fue el deporte. En el 2019 tuve un accidente de tránsito donde las oportunidades de volver a tocar una cancha eran nulas. Aún los médicos me dicen, tú cero deporte, cero correr, jugar, saltar, deportes de contacto. Siento que mi familia en esa parte forma un pilar importantísimo. Mi mamá estuvo conmigo y me cuidó como nadie lo hizo, porque era la que tenía y se aguantaba la de mamá, no quiero a nadie en este momento.
AFL Colombia has the potential to have long-lasting impacts in the communities. Entonces, Alejandro, Oscar y Stefania, we chose these players as the future leaders because they showed throughout the selection process and throughout their time in the organisation that they are future leaders and they are really focused on developing others.
O sea, la idea es crecer aún más, estar en un nivel alto para así poder llegar y enseñarle a todos a mis compañeros.
Para mí la beca es una oportunidad enorme, una oportunidad que no se le presenta a cualquiera, una oportunidad que ya tenía mi nombre destinado en ello. Voy a vivir siempre agradecida con este deporte porque me dio una luz, porque yo vivía mi vida después del accidente, vivía mi vida, pero no era feliz. Cuando conocí el deporte y empecé a jugar de nuevo, y mi vida está de testigo, mi vida cambió.
That's the culmination of a lot of work for a lot of people. A heap of people have contributed to this, and it's great to see them living out their dreams, and we're all very excited for them, and it's going to be great.
Great news, sports teams. Google Forms now accepts payments. The Payable Forms add-on allows for seamless integration of a digital checkout with your Google Forms. Setup is easy. Install the Payable Forms add-on. Link your payment provider, share, and get paid. Players can use Apple Pay, Google Pay, Visa, MasterCard, American Express, Discover, Cash App, Venmo, and more, streamlining the process for them, all while you stay organized with real-time updates. Registrations, uniforms, races, sponsorship, clinics, coaching, training, and classes. Keep it simple with Payable Forms.
Here at Colonel Sam Smith Park on the campus of Humber College in Toronto, Ontario, for the second half of Game 3 of 3 on day number 3. Trips are wild, something like that. Here as the USA Freedom take on the Les Gaulois de France in this women's round 2 matchup. The USA Freedom, as we come into the third quarter, leading by the score of 68-0. Brian Barish alongside Peter Holden. And Pete, it's going to be a matter of keeping the tidal wave going for the USA and the stopping of the bum rush, so to speak, for Les Gaulois.
And for the Gaulois not to lose hope in this tournament. I mean, it's a long tournament. There will be 5 games. There are consolation matches to be played, and to try and better yourself as you go along. Their focus for them now is to start moving the ball towards their forward half. If they can get off their half-back line, get 2 or 3 plays linked up together, just to try and build some hope, some spirit, something that they can take away from the game that hopefully, as we said, they've got some tougher matchups coming up against Canada, but then when they start against the consolation matches, that's when they might be able to start to chip in, score some goals, and try and take something away positive from this tournament.
Yeah, I mean, that's the thing is that, they have 3 more games after this, and they're going to have the opportunity to do a lot more and a lot of growing. I mean, this is their first major 18-a-side tournament. We mentioned that in the Colombia game, but every game is a learning experience. And you say, what do you gain out of a result like this? What you do is you look at each player and you say, what's one thing positive that you did to help the team today? And you can't say nothing, because everybody, maybe it's a little handball, maybe it's a 1%er. There is something on offer. Third quarter about to get underway. Direct from Melbourne, Australia, here's Peter Holden.
Umpire throws the ball high in the air again. One out by Taku, but it's sharked off the pack beautifully there by Alison Leonard. Gets the hand pass over the top now using the Cole Fury, who got piled into the turf, copped up the ball. French will now move it back in towards the middle of the ground. We're looking for Pater. He couldn't get near her. Taken away instead. That was by Cascu, who now moves the ball towards the true centre forward position. Oh, what play from Lindsay Beck, who spun around, gave the hand pass off to Georgiades, goes towards the top of the goal square. All went through the hands there of the French defender, who couldn't hold on to it as April Munn comes in with some good body work, keeps the football alive for Catherine O'Hara, comes back to Georgiades. Georgiades with the handball to Lizette, who was collared, and the umpire will say that is too high. Free kick being given away on that occasion, I think, by Pigniti, and that means kicking for goal will be Liz Ed on a 45-degree angle from around about 35 metres out from goal. Swings it on the right boot, was hitting in the Kaya Segula direction, missed her, she couldn't pick it up. Ball on the ground, in goes Catherine O'Hara again, put her head over the pill, immediately got wrapped up, and the umpire said no proper opportunity, will call for a ball up at the visit Mississauga.ca into the ground.
I want to talk about 31-year-old Liz Ed. It's always great to see somebody come in at the beginning of their football playing career, and was a all-regional selection 2 years ago in her first season, stepping into the ruck for the Minnesota Freeze and doing a fantastic job. Here is Leonard, whippy handball over the Georgiades, who is taken down from behind, no call. Picked up again by Leonard, who is slung to the ground there by Joanne and then that one is kicked out now in the middle. Kaz Carr, but she was dumped, and now it's off to the inside now, looking inboard. Carr again throws her hip and shoulder into it. Going to get picked up. Sequeira dropped the footy. Soccer attempt off the ground, got a little toe poke forward. Fury took her down. Picked up again by Leonard. Just got a handball off. Bounced away from Terce. Terce was taken to the turf. Funny enough, here is Sequeira to Terce, to Rita Hill. Rita Hill was grabbed the entire time. Didn't have a clean footy. Umpire says let the record play. 50 meters out from goal, a whistle, and it is holding. It is a held ball. We'll have a ball up about, we'll say 55 meters out from the Team USA target.
Umpire throws the ball high in the air again. One out by Horn versus Deku. Will be taken away here and spinning around on a sixpence to kick the football. Lignero Got intercepted. Quick hand pass courtesy of Fury going backwards, this time using Sakura to now go towards inside 50. Was wanting to find Beck. Umpire says holding the football against Jess Blecker, who got spun around and around and around like Patrick Hernandez in Born to Be Alive, and gives up the free kick. So an opportunity now for the French to see if they can create something off their half-back flank. Again, they're going to a standing target, which is never was. Catherine Oha nearly copped the JBL clothesline from hell and will get a resulting free kick. In fact, it was Georgiadis, pardon me. I was looking for the big hair, and it was Georgiadis. Georgiadis now kicks inside 50. Now that's Catherine Oha, has got her hair down. She clicks it across to Beck. Couldn't find her. Aileen Yoon slightly being held off the pack. Umpire said it was fair. Play on. Yoon goes back in for a second crack at it. Beck is shepherding. Yoon off the side of the boots. How does that look? I think that's a contender for the Payable Apps goal of the tournament from the OC Giants, Aileen Yoon. And the USA move to 11-8-74. France, no score.
What a goal by Aileen Yoon in her major tournament debut. Started with the Sacramento Suns, came down to LA, and as we said, a co-founder of the Orange County Giants. She has a soccer background from Orange, California, 32 years of age, and a great job by her to pick up the footy and a little off the side of the boot job and just snuck in the goalpost. So 74-0 as the ball comes back in the middle of the ground. I heard what I thought was a speaker, but just somebody has turned their volume up to 11 behind us as the ball comes back in the play once again, underway. France trying to get the ball up on that far side, and showing her shielding was Galtia for France, and now sending it forward. Here is Blecker, finds it at her legs, handballs to Hoa, who runs the 25 and kicks a goal. Champagne football by the USA Freedom. Hoa has her second. That's 12 for the USA, 12-8-80. No score for France. Payable App scoreboard.
Here at the 2024 AFL Transatlantic Cup in Toronto, Ontario. Great to have your company, Peter Holden, and the best football commentator with the name Brian Barish, alongside me. Great to have your company, particularly if you're watching again online by the AFL Canada YouTube channel or a bar anywhere. We know in particular that a bar of their own in Minnesota is watching, and we have been talking about the Minnesota Freeze a lot. I do want to make mention there are two women's teams in the Minneapolis St. Paul's area. That's the Minnesota Freeze, and the other club, a fairly new club, it's been around for about 5 or 6 years, the North Star Blue Ox.
The North Star Blue Ox, the first and only independent women's team. A lot of the clubs here had the men's team first and then the women's team formed for that. They are the first independent women's team and the only one so far. And of course, they are represented by Marie LaVictoire, one of the Freedom coaches. Long handball looking for Kylie Hahn. And there is Nichon in there for France. Umpire comes in and says, give that to me, baby, and we'll have a ball up. It'll occur on the outer wing position as the ball gets knocked backwards. Hahn got a fingertip to it, and then chasing it is Manon Yanin. And then it's a handball, by Fury over to Blecker, left-footed, low and slow across the face for behind. And another scoring shot for the USA. 12-9-81. Payable App scoreboard. France no score. 11.5 to go. And they'll be set. France will be set. They don't have Tillet at the fullback. They've changed that out.
I think in a way that might be a good thing, and I'll explain that in just a moment's time, as much as she's been a sensational player in defence. Here's the ball that goes long towards the half-back flank position. Holding easily there, and the umpire's going to pay it against Blecker. Free kick going the way of the French and ending up in the hands of the number 22, Emily Grosella. And Grosella will take the opportunity to move the ball off the half-back line. I was saying about delay being moved out of defence. I mean, when you're copying a bit of a smashing, there's no use in one player just getting all the touches. It's good to try and move some players to save them from going a bit cold in the tournament, move them into the back line, get a little bit of the play, and try and get their confidence up and get some disposals under their belt. Taking it away there is Manin Yanin. Yanin now goes in towards the centre square. Catherine Georgiadis front position there. Pinidi for the French, also fighting hard for the football, and the umpire asks for it back. You see she's got like a helmet on at the moment. Helmets are not normally used in Aussie rules football, at least not the American football helmets, but a kind of rubber foam helmet is allowed to be worn.
And you see that a lot in rugby, so it's the soft helmet, but that's just to protect against extra head injuries. There is a long handball by Fury, but it was picked off. In there on the tackle was Blecker trying to pick up the ball, and then another tackle was made. Umpire waves his arms in the air saying, I don't care. Well, I do care, but you can keep playing. That's fine. Being held off the football ever so slightly was Oa, but not enough to draw a whistle. She gets spun around. Yoon and Ed are both lurking for the freedom, and then the ball is cryogenically frozen in there just like Walt Disney's head, and we'll have a ball up about 20 meters out from the target. We should tell you that we have men's action. We'll tell you the matchups in just a few minutes, beginning at 9:30 tomorrow Eastern Time.
Umpire blows the whistle and says, holding the football, free kick going the way of the French, and an opportunity for them to clear off the back line. And I think it might be in the hands of Jarcel, who's just looking around for some options. From the back pocket on the Lake Ontario side of the ground in front of the visitmississauga.ca goal. Oh, it's too short, the kick in, and now taken away by Blecker. Blecker on the left boot, floating across the face of goal. 1-2 bounces still remaining in. Now it goes out, and we'll call for a ball in just where the USA Revolution, that's the men's team for the United States, watching on and supporting their team, the Freedom.
And they're going to kick off things tomorrow, beginning at 9:30 Eastern Time against Great Britain. Game 2 will be Ireland and Canada at 11:45, and then Colombia and France at 2:30. Another scoring opportunity for the USA. A lot of bodies in there, but they're going to get it the heck out of there. Are Les Gaulois, as that one is. Oh, Terse came in. The Swedesboro, New Jersey native came in with like a house on fire, but unfortunately the end result is a turnover. And now back the other way comes Ouvry. Ouvry now with the football. There's a whistle. She's taken down, and it's a free kick to the USA back the other way, and it will be given to Kylie Hahn. Kylie Hahn, Simpsonville, South Carolina. Kick that one up on the far side. Bounces in front, a high bounce in front of the shortest player on the field, who gives up a scoop in Lindsay Terse, and a free kick going the way of Team France.
I think that was her language when she gave it up, rather terse, as the ball is now in the hands of Lucy Simoneau, and she wants to come in board only for Catherine Georgiades to intercept the mark. Georgiades was named in the all-world team at the 2014 AFL International Cup 10 years ago. Goes short with the pass and manages to find Jess Blecker, who was on the Collingwood VFLW list when they won a premiership in 2019. She elects to go shorter again with the pass. Worked out ideal, and it manages to find Catherine Hoha. Also enjoys playing softball, volleyball, and diving as well. This would be actually very good weather to go diving. But we're out here playing Aussie rules. I should mention, 28 degrees today. They played in the same temperature on day one, but that was rather humid. There's actually a coolish breeze blowing across the ground today. She goes with her pass towards the top of the goal square. Was originally looking to try and find April Munn. The kick was short, though, and intercepted by Emi Dulakumuna, who, of course, also plays for the Darebin Falcons in Australia.
Yeah, one of a couple of players who played. One of the one of the Colombian players doing it is escaping me. You might remember.
Stephanie Galteros.
Galteros, yes. My friend Darcy, I've mentioned it before. Darcy Pingator, who is over here. She was over here in the States for a time. Plays for Darebin. So Darcy, if you're watching, hello. As the ball is picked up by Beck off of about 5 hops, goes to Oa, who finds Carr with a left foot. Goes into the pocket. That one will roll. It'll skip, and it will go behind a stick for a minor score. Payable app scoreboard. USA 12-10-82, no score for France. We'll tell you, helping sports teams simplify fee collection through their Google add-ons. Visit payableapps.com.
And the ball will be run off the back line again by Dula Kumuna, who moves it towards the half-back flank on the far side of the ground. Yanin wanted to try and run onto the football. It got past her. Yanin still going. Sockers it off the ground. Had support from Galtia. Close towards the boundary line, Lake Ontario side of the ground. Did she got one in the back? Well, no, she's got pinned for holding the football. And it will be a free kick going the way of the USA Freedom. Umpire calls play on as the kick goes quickly. Looking for Lindsay Terse. Terse takes the mark. Terse, of course, out of the Austin Crows. And the Austin Crows used to be part of a combo team called the Texas Heat before them and Houston Lone Stars started to build up more of their numbers so they could start playing as their own team in the competition in the USAFL National Championships, which is coming up in October. As the kick is intercepted on this occasion and taken away by Yanin. Yanin goes towards the halfback flank position. Turnover taken by Rita Hill for the USA. Maybe being held without it. and the umpire spotted it was Aileen Yoon, and she'll get a resulting free kick. She'll be right on the 50-metre arc. Pardon me, it's not Yoon. It is, in fact, Catherine Oha. So Oha with the football. She finds herself 50 metres out from goal, 45-degree angle. Wants to go with a spearing pass. Does so to Lindsay Beck, who thought about turning around and playing on quickly. Got the hurry up on the umpire. Gave it across to Kaya Sagula, who goes across the face of goal with the kick. It's just kept out by the French on the last line of defence. Keeping the ball in front of herself is Amanda Bowe. Goes across with a hand pass to Amelia Carr. Hello, Wilbur. Hits the post. It's a Wilbur post, minus score. And that moves the USA along to 12-11-83. France, no score. Just under 5 minutes remaining on our Payable app scoreboard.
That's never a good sign when a car hits a post. Anyway, here they come back into play. Again, an 83-point lead to the USA. They come out to the near side. It's going to be taken by the USA. They're going to go in quickly. That one is streaming in front, and there is Jess Blecker. Was it touched? No, that is a good football goal for Jess Blecker, who now has gone on and kicked her first. She joins the scoring party. 13-11-89 for the USA. No score for France, and now it's become a conga line towards the goal almost.
Well, the biggest score that's been racked up this tournament so far actually happened on the men's side of the game, 110-1. So a 109-point victory, and that was the Irishmen against the Colombian men. So, and remember, they were playing a game that was 10 minutes longer. So the USA at the moment on track to possibly beat that, and they've still got, you're talking about a good 21-odd minutes remaining.
And if you want to talk about records, for those of you who keep track of that sort of thing, the biggest freedom victory was at the last International Cup when they beat the European Crusaders 127-0.
And that would have had a few French players in the team.
It would have, and one of them, who I believe, I don't see her, she may be out because of injury in the last game, Naouma Etel-Mouden, who was on one of a couple of players, including Colleen Duquet.
And that's Williamson who gets the resulting free kick in the middle of the ground. Got across to Sagula, who now moves across to Amelia Carr. Amelia Carr moves the ball fast inside the forward line, being picked up there by Bowe. Got across to Oha. Now goes across to Liz Ed. Liz Ed, hospital hand pass there. We'll have to go back in and have another crack at it. Wanted to get across quickly to Beck. Delay goes in there. She gets immediately dumped into the ground. Amelia Carr threw the ball onto the boot quickly. Then across to Uni. Got a hospital hand pass. Now across to Catherine Oha. Oha on an emergency. Got it across to Lindsay Beck. Beck just threw it on the boat. And it is another for the USA freedom. Straight through the high diddle, and that makes the margin now out to 95 points. USA freedom, 14-11-95. France, no score. 2.5 minutes remaining, third term on the Payable app scoreboard.
And back with her second, I believe, and with 2.5 to go. And yeah, and what's interesting is that play, it seemed like everybody got at least 3 touches on the ball. Everybody just whipping around with those handballs. I think what Andrew Donlan is going to want to see is those get tightened up a little bit more, because really, I mean, you want to get the target. They were confirming.
Well, hang on. Oh. There's an overrule. There's an overall situation here. The goal umpire originally gave a goal. Now the field umpires come in, and when the goal umpire crosses his flag, he means scrap the score and redo it again, so it's a point. For those in the truck, the scoreboard should now read 13-12-90. 13-12-90 for the USA.
And now we're back in the middle again. And here is Amelia Carr, who has the football 55 meters out. Going to send this one, drops in front, bounds away into the hands of Hoa. Hoa has the football. It's going to drop in front. Here is Bowe. Will Bowe get the goal back? Yep. So ball don't lie. And there is the 14th goal for the USA off the foot of Amanda Bowe. That takes them to 14-12-96. 14-12-96 to no score with $1.15 to go third term.
And that is the third goal for Amanda Bowe in this match. And she may be a contender for the Powerwood Game MVP. Custom seater supplies done right. In fact, they're seater suppliers based in Western Canada. You can visit powerwood.com.
Amanda Bowe, I mean, she's one of those players I think was on track for 2020. We see a lot of these redemption stories, which is absolutely fantastic. We mentioned Bowe. Allison Leonard is another one, named to the 2020 team, finally getting her chance to play.
And what happens, it looks like we have a violation of the 666 against France, so it's a free kick to the USA, and that is with the player in Barbara Williamson, who moves the ball quickly in the direction of Sagula, who got dumped into the ground. Umpire said play on, got rid of the football. Lindsay Beck goes crashing over the top. She couldn't pick it up. Waiting on the side there is Amelia Carr. Umpire from a distance says there's an in-the-back free kick, and it's going the way of the French. And an opportunity for them to just try and take a breath and reset again. I think it might be with Heidi Ballois, who goes towards the half-back flank position. Ball is dropped in, goes Connor Joe Lewis again, gets it out quickly to Saigula. Saigula hand pass over the top, was looking for Oha, missed her completely. Coming away there, Dula Kumuna. She goes towards true centre half-back. Now is Georgieades. Beck has the football. Her kick will not count as it's after the siren. It's delayed to the mark and then fell to the ground afterwards. Delay got filleted. And the score at three-quarter time is the USA Freedom 14-12-96. La Gouras de France, no score.
And when you say filet, all I can think of is our good friend Heather Serpico, the steak expert, who is sure is watching back home.
I'm thinking of filet of fish from McDonald's, but nonetheless.
They're not a sponsor. That's all right. And listen, I mean, the U.S., I mean, we can clearly see them. So let's talk about what the French are doing. What are they doing right?
Well, they're trying to mix it up. Like, as we talked earlier, we said Thalay was marking everything in the first half, and we said there was no point of her just staying at fullback and racking up all the disposals. As much as it'd be good for her game, you want to get players that were down the forward line, because the ball's not getting down their forward line, down in defence, getting the hand on the ball, getting their skills up, getting their confidence up, because you don't want to just stand cold and walk away from the game with no disposals and feel you do nothing. It's not good for you physically or mentally. So that's what they're doing. They're starting to throw some players down there. We're seeing Simoneau, Michon, Jassel go down there as well. We've seen this quarter Dula Kumuna go down there and start to get some possessions as well. I think Balwa just called just then as well. Joanne, I mean. So again, don't let your players go cold. In a game, when it's a tournament, when it's a thrashing, there's no point of standing around. Get in there, get your hands on the ball, start to build up your skills, start to build up your knowledge base as well, because that will come in handy when you're playing against opponents that are more level with you.
And 10 seconds or less, do the USA keep going, or do they put the cue in the rack?
Oh, you've got to put the cue in the rack now. You've got to put your six best players on the bench. I said the same thing against the game against Ireland. This is a tournament format. It is not knockout. The game is already won. With respect to France, they're not going to find 97 points in 17 and a half minutes. So it's a chance to rest the players, because you've still got 3 more games to come. We're playing 5 games in 10 days.
One more quarter to go. We'll have it when we return. You're watching the 2024 AFL Transatlantic Cup, presented by Payable Apps here from Toronto. back here in Toronto at Humber College, Colonel Sam Smith Park, for the fourth and final quarter of the third and final game of the third of 10 days. Look at all these fractions here at the 2024 AFL Transatlantic Cup, brought to you by Payable Apps. The USA 96, France nothing. Brian Barish and Peter Holden here with you, fourth quarter, and it'll be interesting to see how these two teams play the next 17 and a half minutes. The USA, I think it's almost like a cricket score. They've got enough, and like you said, see what they can do. Let's see what kind of personnel they put out there. Maybe get some of the players on the back line. See if they can get them on the score sheet too.
Yeah, indeed. As we said, just get their hands on the ball. It's good for everyone. As you said, for both French and both the USA, rotate your players around. Make sure everyone comes away with a positive feeling out of the game, regardless of what the scoreboard may read. The umpire just waiting that all will be in readiness before holding the football aloft and getting us underway. Again, this is the final game of the day. We did have two matches earlier. That was the Colombia women didn't score against Great Britain. Great Britain 7-13-55. They have a 2-0 record. Ireland Ireland went down to Canada 5-2-32. The Canadians 5-5-35. That really threw the cat amongst the pigeons for the tournament. As we're underway again, and it looks like it's in the booth there. Theory who just kicked it long towards the forward line. Lindsay Beck chasing after the football at the Toronto City Centre end. Gives it off quickly. One step, shot on goal. Ali Dykes, how does that look? That's a goal. Ali Dykes gets on the scoreboard, and that's the 100 up. Raise the cricket bat for the USA. They go to 15-12, 102. France, no score. 17 minutes remaining. Final term on the Payable App scoreboard.
Ali Dykes out of Denver, Colorado with the Denver Bulldogs. What a story. Tore her ACL right before the Parallel Cup last year. Absolutely heartbroken. A year later, plays in the International Cup, kicks her first goal for the red, white, and blue. An absolutely wonderful story, and great to see her get involved in this, her fourth full season. Back in the middle again, knocked out by Hahn. And that is Dykes, who was playing in the back line. That's exactly what we saw. Here is Fury as a car had it go off her side. Going to get picked up there by Leonard, who is taken down. Picked up now by Caskew. Caskew dragged it in, but got it off to Hahn, who was hauled down. A whistle and hold it up. Nope, it's going to be. Well, they were pointing back that way. It is going to be a free kick, and it will go the way of Kylie Hahn. Hahn plays that one. It's a ski jump ball. Who wants it? Everybody. Nice mark over the top by Blecker. And Jess Blecker from San Jose, California, began her career. Actually went to school in Western Australia. Picked up footy with the Portland Sockeyes, now plays for the Golden Gate Iron Maidens. Sending that one in again, looking for Dykes, who is now in amongst it. And there is a whistle. We have a Tilley was down, she'll get up, and we will have a ball up 2 minutes into the fourth and final term.
Umpire just making sure everything's in the clear before throwing it up. Lindsay Beck is the nominated ruck on this occasion for the USA Freedom. Remember, before every ruck contest, the rucks must put their hand up to nominate they're going in the contest. Jess Blecker quickly throws it on the left boot. That's away to the left-hand side for a minor score. 15-13, 103, the USA Freedom. France yet to score. 15 minutes remaining on our Payable Apps scoreboard. And Payable Apps, they're helping sports teams simplify fee collection through their Google Ads. That is payableapps.com.
Will be put back into play. Tilley is back in the back line now. She plays it out to the near side. Carr going the watch, juggled and almost taken. Almost a Payable Apps mark of the tournament. And there is Caskew, who gets it out, finds Segula. And here is Hahn. Hahn pushing up a little bit. Got a weird-looking handball out to Simino, or picked off by Simino. She's trying to get it out. There's a big scramble in front. Dykes out the back to Blecker. One step, laser shot of a goal, and it's there. Give that one to the baby goat, or the baby horse. No, she's the baby goat. Alex Morgan was the baby horse. Not bad. 16-13, 109 for the USA. France, no score.
Oh, dear, goat cheesy. As the umpire will take the ball back to the middle of the ground. It gets to that type of game, doesn't it, folks? When the game blows out, the commentators start to lose it a little bit. 16-13, 109, no score. Yes. Exhibit A, ladies and gentlemen, Exhibit A.
My brother in Christ, we've already lost it.
Umpire throws the football up in the two centre circles. Away we go again, blows the whistle and says infringement against the USA for jumping into the French ruck, and it will be a French free kick.
Can you perhaps explain to our folks and maybe me why there are 2 center circles out there?
Okay, so what happened was before the umpire would bounce the ball in one of the center circles, and you were allowed to run up and at one stage on any angle into the ruck contest. And what they found was the players were giving too much run up and jumping into each other. There was too many knee injuries. So they decided to make the center circle that the rucks have to work within their half of that outer circle in a ruck contest.
Okay, but why are there 2 of them?
Well, they used to because in case one starts to get worn out, then all of a sudden, by rotating back and forward, you're able to... so don't wear out the grass.
I understand. Here's Saigula from 50 meters out. Kaya puts this one to her right foot, and Tilley takes the mark. Listen, Tilley is doing an amazing job back there. Unfortunately, it's because it's all one-way traffic, but you know what? She is one of their best players of the 2 games we've seen so far. Bounces off. Delfina Delgadillo from the Orange County Giants is in there with Allie Dykes. And the ball tumbles out of the bounds line and goes out of bounds.
Shouldn't know. The amazing thing about Tilley is, as much as she's French, she actually plays for the Cambodian Eagles because she's currently based at the moment in Phnom Penh, Cambodia.
Yeah, and we have somebody, that's one of 2 that's in AFL Asia because we had somebody with the Bali Geckos in addition.
And they're planning on having an AFL Asia 9-a-side championship, so the equivalent of this but a smaller 9-a-side tournament, I believe coming up at around about November, December, so at the end part of the year.
And there's one, and this, of course, the 2 of the 3, the third one being the Pacific Championship, which is happening in Maroochydore in Queensland, Australia, also around the same time. The ball comes back into play, picked up by Dykes, had it, lost it, and she got dragged backwards there, and no call. In there is Roman Vilma for France, and we will have a free kick. Free kick going the way of the USA, and it will be Allie Dykes. Dykes with the football. She waits. And waits, now puts the ball, little chip kick over the top, looks for Saigoa. Oh, what a mark. She was the shorter of the 2 in that contest, runs the 35, and puts that one off to the left side. Another minor score, 16-14, 110. France no score. Payable app scoreboard, 11:20 to play. Peter Holden.
I thought that Saigula mark was a contender for the mark of the tournament thanks to Payable apps. Number 3, Kaya Saigula for the USA Freedom. That was taken around about 11.5 minutes to go. As it's now taken back in by Tilley, who runs out from full back. A flat kick towards the centre half back position. Her original intended target there was Vilma. Good tackle from behind. Umpire blows the whistle and says Giselle has to cough the football up, and it's going to be taken away, it looks like, by Kelly Caskew. Caskew with the football for the USA Freedom, goes with the toe packer. Was going to go for April Munn. A little too much juice in the kick. Blecker came out afterwards, bounced off her knees, goes back again. Couldn't quite drag it in this time. Hurried little hand pass comes out. Going in there is Flock. Flock does well to create the spoil. Umpire says there's a throw, and it will be a free kick again to Christine Flock.
Saigola.
Oh, pardon me. I keep getting Flock and Saigula wrong. I don't know how I do it. It's just that because I normally look at the sheet and I see 1, 2, 3, and I look 3 in numbers down, but there is no number 2 for the USA Freedom, which is throwing me. Now here's the kick there by Saigula. Has this one cleared the pack? It has. Saigula with her second, and they move to 17-14, 116 the USA. France, no score, 10 minutes remaining, final 2.
And they are 12 points away from setting a new scoring record for the USA Freedom Program, which was made its debut in 2009 with a tour of several clubs in Australia, which was one of the contributing factors for the AFL adding a women's division in 2011 to the International Cup with just 5 clubs, with just 5 countries. One of them was an Australian Indigenous and multicultural team. That expanded to 7 teams, including a couple of reserve sides. There's a free kick that's been given because of the 666 rule.
Against the USA, it should be.
Well, no, it's against France. Or it's 2. Ooh, as here is Hahn, who finds Beck. Beck with another mark. She's taken a lot of good contested marks. Wheels around and drops this one in. Dykes couldn't get good possession, had to take the long way around. That one goes all the way back. There's going to be, everybody has stopped, so this one's going to get called back. Didn't see what for. And I believe, let's see, this is going to Allie Dykes. Great job by Andrew Donlin to put Dykes in the forward line. We might see her a little bit later on. Good weighted kick to Blecker. Blecker jumps up and takes the mark. And she will go back. I believe that was in front of Dela Camuna. And Blecker, who is a nurse, And she goes back and will send this one on the way. Trying to add to the total. Sends this one. It's a low and slow, like a good pot of chili, and Thalea's there to bat it through and concede the behind. Payable app scoreboard, 17-15, 117 for the USA. France no score. And just to finish the thought on Blecker, we mentioned that she played for Nightcliff in the NTFL, Collingwood Magpies in VFLW, also coached Augs Kick while she was over in Melbourne.
And that's, of course, for the little tackers under 10 that are starting to learn the game. Now taken away there by Blecker, who intercepts, goes straight in the direction of April Money, gets cut off by Thale. Thale coughs up the football, though. Ball's on the deck. Who can get clean hands to it? And this occasion, having a shot at goal is Amanda Bowe. She might have 4 for the day. Indeed, she does. And the USA Freedom move to 18-15, 123. France, no score, with just under 8 minutes remaining in the final term for Payable apps.
It's a bow bag. And we hear, we talk about the USA Freedom. We talk about some of their superstars of the past. Katie Klatt from the Golden Gate Iron Maidens, formerly the Sacramento Suns. She's part of the coaching staff. She is over here at the edge of the technical area.
I launched an official protest. She is young enough. Why is she not playing? She was a gun when she played for Melbourne University in Australia, and of course played at Boston, played also with the Iron Maidens. I demand an investigation. Katie Klatt should be playing.
I'm sure there's a reason why she isn't, and that's completely up to her. Saigula turns around and sends that one in, bounces high for Beck, little shovel hand pass. They're queuing up. Here comes Blecker. Blecker is tackled without the football, and I believe she was tackled without the football. In fact, she was. So here is Jess Blecker, who has the football. Thank you very much, as my sheet went flying. That's still important here as Blecker turned the ball over the hand. There's Christine Flock, number 4 from Hellerstown, Pennsylvania. And she was, I believe there was some contact on her after the contest. And in fact, it will go the other way. So here is France. They are wheeling around a little bit, looking for their first score of the game. You know what? It doesn't seem likely, but this game could use a French score as they move up on the far side just to get on the board. You know, you don't want to go home with a donut, as this one is a free kick. It will go the way of the USA. Center wing on the opposite side in front of the intense side of the ground because there are people over there. Intense.
Thank you very much as we wait for the umpire to get us restarted again. And one of the USA players just feeling a little worse for wear at the moment. And they'll just take a couple of deep breaths, get going, and then they'll go with a kick up the line. It's good mark there by Lindsay Terse. Lindsay Terse of the Austin Crows finds herself about 70 metres out from goal. Runs around the player on the mark, heading in the direction of April Munn. Will be short of her, but the mark will be taken by Lindsay Beck. She's just pointing out where the player on the mark should be. This could almost be a 50-metre penalty. No, the umpire very generous. Just saying to the player, get back to this position. Now goes for Catherine Oha in the pocket. She had it, then she dropped it, and then she dropped the pill. The umpire says that's holding the football, and that will be a free kick going the way of La Gauloise for the French. Now will Jassal take it? We'll just see in a moment. Just waiting for the ball to go back to the correct position. In fact, it's going to end up in the hands of the number 85, Amelia Chasse. So Amelia Chasse for the French, as my notes get blown over. Thank you very much for this win out of Lyon, and plays for the Alpha Lions. 38 years old, oldest member on the team, as she kicks the football and it gets intercepted. And just lucky though that they managed to lay a tackle on Barbara Williamson and get a resulting free kick there for the French. And they'll have it in the back pocket, going on the long boot up the line there, Camus. And a little bit of a juggling attempt, not paid by the umpire, and he'll blow the whistle, and again we'll call for a ball up, this time on the half-back flank for the French, half-forward flank for the USA Freedom. This time it's going to be Barbara Williamson going up in the ruck contest for the Freedom. She wins out on that occasion. Ball spilled free. Trying to lay the tackle there is Terse. Rita Hill puts on the pressure, knocks the football loose. Going to ground there is Garcia. Hurried little kick out of the contest. Bounces inside 50. It's an awkward football. Bigniti running left, running right. Oh, she's moving with the grace of a concussed duck. Then she gets it on the right boot. It dribbles up the line. Just getting smacked away there by Williamson. Comes back into lay the tackle. Connor Joe Lewis up against the boundary line. Still managed to be kept in play. Oha comes in for the support as Georgiadis laid the tackle. Pigney gets dispossessed of the football. And the umpire says that's dropping free kick for the United States.
Christine Flock, we should mention, it is their birthday today. today. They turned 39, so happy
birthday.
Of course, a mother of two, living in Sacramento, originally from Hellertown, Pennsylvania, just up the Blue Route from where I live in Philadelphia. So nice to see another Keystone Stater as Bo drops this one in front, looking for Munn, but the kick was offline, and it'll be a free kick. 3.5 minutes to go. USA 123, 1-2-3, and France, as this one is sent back in, and they'll look for a chance now as Munn and Bo. It's 2-on-1 in the goal square. Now a second one comes up, as here the kick is about to come in. Looking at Bo. Looking at Munn, looking at Beck in the goal square. Sent in on the way, and that has gone to the left and through for yet another minor score. 18-16, 1-2-4 for the USA. France no score, 2:45 to go in the ballgame, thanks to you, Payable Apps.
So 18-16, 124 to no score. As the ball is kicked back in from full-back. All good bouncing ball. Michon chasing after it there. Had support there from Liengdoro. She has the football, kicked along the ground, but it went to the favour of the Americans. Picked up by April Munn, who wanted to curl it back, and it wouldn't do so. And it went to the right-hand side for a minor score. The USA 18-17, 125. France, well, they're Tim Hortons, donuts. No score. 2:14 minutes remaining on the clock in this final term.
I mean, I could go for some Timbits. But you know what? Listen, France. You know what? They have not dropped their heads. You know, they've had the pressure all day. Good ups to them. I mean, they are here to play, and they're going to learn. Here is the birthday girl in Flock who gets the ball away. They're able to get it through, and we have a whistle. It'll be a free kick. It'll go the way of Pinade. Pinade with the football and gives it instead to Della Comuna. Della Comuna waiting, horses, and not a great kick, high up in the air. Going after it is Hoa, so too is Saigula, who pokes it forward. Ball goes across, and it's going to be, again, there's Pinade, who's taken down to the ground, and by Dykes. The umpire crosses himself like the first rabbi of Aussie rules football, L'chaim, and we'll have a ball up with just over a minute to go here in the fourth quarter.
And it's thrown up in the air again. It's Paris versus Lindsay Beck. Beck wins it down close to the boundary line, seen over and out in front of Ali Dykes. And that's what we'll call for a ball in with a minute to go. And of course, it's a very unique thing to Australian rules football. When the umpire brings the ball back into play, they turn their back to the play and throw it over their head. As it was looking for Georgiadis, who bounced past the football. Beck was on the outside. Pignade was there. She gets absolutely piled into the ground. And the umpire says that's in the back against Ali Dykes. So a free kick there to Clemence Pignade. And she'll move the ball for Le Goual towards the half-back flank position. It was an awkward bouncing ball. Flockett went past them. Now picking up the football is Lindsay Terse. Under pressure, had to get rid of the hand pass. Now going in to intercept it, there is Garcia for the French. Moves it up towards the centre wing position. It was cut off. Rita Hill had it momentarily. Went back and got it again. Hill kicking it up the line, looking for Flock. Just got away from them. And the ball went over the boundary line and out of bounds. And it's a lasso rule free kick because the kick bounced and went over the boundary line and wasn't touched. That means it's a free kick to the French per AFLW rules, but it need not matter, for the final siren has gone, and for Payable Apps, the USA Freedom with a handy victory, the biggest victory in this tournament so far, 125 points in the end, 18-17, 125 to the French Le Goulois, no score.
And for the USA, this is it gives them a little bit of breathing room when we talk about the top two teams advancing through on the Vision Glass Toronto ladder. Because now all three teams are 1-1, and based on that, the USA are in front. But it gives them a little bit of breathing room. They go up against Great Britain on, Tuesday, and what that means is that they obviously want to win to remove any doubt, but they have a little bit of wiggle room depending on what Canada does in their match, because they are France's next opponent, and depending on what Ireland does against Colombia. Not sure how that will go, but this is, as you said, a very handy victory.
Indeed. Let's have a look at the goal kickers at full time. For Amanda Bowes, she kicked 4, 3 to Connor Joe Lewis, 2 each to Kaya Segula, Catherine Oha, Jess Blecker and April Munn. Singles to Eileen Yoon, Lindsay Beck and Ellie Dykes.
And now it's time for the Powerwood Game MVP. Powerwood Customs Cedar Supplies done right. Cedar Suppliers based in Western Canada. I'd hate to be the poor sap that would have to pick this one. Oh, I'm sorry, Pete. It's going to be you.
Oh, don't worry. I already had it in my mind.
Who is it?
There was a couple of good players there. I mean, Lindsay Beck could have put her hand up. Jess Blecker could have put her hand up. Amanda Bowe with 4 goals. But the player who was cutting like a hot knife through butter was Connor Joe Lewis. She set things up early. Every time she went near the ball, she was dangerous. And for me, she's the Powerwood player of the game.
Again, custom Cedar Supplies done right. Cedar Suppliers based in Western Canada. So that will just about do it for this one. Again, we'll kind of take a look at the ladder thanks to Vision Toronto. We'll take a look at it now. Again, a 3-way tie for the Group A or the Americas group lead, as the Americans are in first, followed by Canada, then Colombia. Remember, only 2 of them will advance to the semifinals. On the other side, it is 2-0. Who's it? 2-0 Great Britain. And then 1-1 Ireland, France at 0-2. And with this defeat, probably you might say it's a bridge too far, but this last day is going to be very, very important for multiple reasons.
I tell you what, day 2 has turned things on its head, because when we saw the results on day 1 and Ireland did a number on the USA, we thought, well, here we go again, Ireland the clear favourites. GB and Canada were close against each other. We got, maybe Canada has slipped and GB has caught up. And then day 2 has completely changed our thinking on everything, with GB crushing Colombia and then Canada bouncing back to beat Ireland in a thriller. And now that the USA have shown a different type of game plan against the French, all of a sudden, day 3, who knows what may happen? And the semi-finals may not be as set as we think.
Not at all. We'll run through those games in round 3. This will be on Tuesday, the 6th of August. It'll kick off at, well, let's see here. I thought I had it. It'll kick off at 10 o'clock with Canada taking on France. At 12 p.m., it'll be Ireland and Colombia. Great Britain plays the USA in the final game. Tomorrow, it'll be back to the men for round 2 action. The USA and Great Britain kick things off at 9:30 Eastern Time. Ireland will play Canada at 11:45 a.m. and Colombia and France at 2 p.m. You have anything else you want to say?
Well, what can I say? The USA Freedom, I was a bit critical of them in their loss against Ireland, thinking they were playing a bit too one-dimensional, just going up the one side of the ground. They started to turn things around in that final quarter against Ireland, and they've continued on with that positive way of thinking in this game against France. So positive for them. For the French, don't lose spirit. I know it's difficult on days like today when you look at the scoreboard and it shows nothing for you. But hey, you've learnt your lesson against a tougher team. There will be tougher teams to come, but you only get better by going out there and playing more and more and more football.
Well, that's going to just about do it for us. Thank you so much for your company throughout the day. My thanks to Peter Holden. Our thanks to our helpers and the guys who called the 2 games before us, or 1.5 of the games before us, with Pat McNeil and David Smith. Our thanks to the good folks at eThere Live, and of course, our thanks to you for joining us.
And hello once again to those watching online, not only through AFL Canada YouTube, but particularly at a bar of their own in Minnesota. Sign up and play with the Minnesota Freeze or the North Star Blue Ox today.
And we hope that we'll talk to you on, we'll hope that you'll put us on Tuesday as well. For Pete and for everyone here at Humber College, this is Brian Barish wishing you a pleasant good evening.